Indeed. What's your policy on child benefit?
Child benefit's a tricky one because one of the things we don't want to do is to make a big statement now and then find that we couldn't afford it. There was a huge amount of criticism after the 2010 manifesto was launched that we couldn't afford some of the manifesto promises we made. So at the moment we're having them all independently costed by an economic think tank.
So you haven't got a policy on child benefit?
We know for sure that we'll be able to afford it.
You haven't got a policy?
I'm sure we will have a policy on child.
What would you like it to say?
We haven't got a policy that we're ready to announce yet.
What would
Look, we in Ukip want the brightest and best from around the world. I'm actually quoted in the Hindustan Times to say I want the brightest and best from India and China. We have no problem with that.
Where are you on social care? Would you have a cap, and what would it be?
Well, on social care, I mean, obviously, care for the elderly is quite important. I think the government's moving in the right. Well, this is important, obviously, because these are the people who've worked hard in this country.
So
these are the people
policy?
who deserve care. Well, the policy is that they deserve care, and I think the governments are moving in the right direction.
No, I didn't ask about the government.
Issue.
I asked about your policy. Where are you on social care? Would you have a cap, and what would it be?
Well, I think the cap would be pretty much similar to what the government is at the moment, which is around £72,000. I think the government... Listen, we are not just here to criticise and kick the government about. The point of the matter is that when the government do something right and are moving in the right direction, we must say well done and give them a pat on the back. There are certain issues whereby we don't think they're moving in the right direction, and for example, the removal of any mention of the EU referendum in the Queen's speech, we believe, isn't good enough, and quite frankly, we would like to see a referendum in this Parliament.
Oh, all right. It's interesting that I asked you about social care and we end up at a referendum for Europe. Do you still plan to have a citizen's pension?
Well, this idea, in fact, has been taken up by a large extent by Ian Duncan Smith, so we were sort of slightly ahead of our time with that.
So you won't have that now?
But the pensions, we have not decided what we're going to do.
In favour of regularly deploying the armed forces on the streets?
If necessary, yes.
You are, as a regular...
the last leadership, and in the 2010 election, we managed to produce a manifesto that was 486 pages long. So you can quote me all sorts of bits of it that I will not know, and that is why I've said none of it stands today.
Make a pledge of complete transparency. All elected MEPs will provide a clear and traceable quarterly statement of their expense accounts. This will be online on the UK website. Well, we went to the UK website, Transparency Report section. There's no information about your expenses since December 2011. That's nearly a year.
Yeah. In fact, we're doing it every 6 months, not quarterly. That seemed a more practical way to do it. And you're quite
you haven't
right.
done it this year at all.
I haven't done it this year at all because I simply haven't had time to do it. But